We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
When I think about those nights in Montreal, all I think about is weed. Memories of city lights and packing bowls. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Canada Quebec Connection with me and Loretta. How you doing, Loretta?
Hello. So nice to be with you again, Wild T. I'm doing pretty good. How are thee?
Well, we're both, I think, on the leg because we both had fucking naps. I still feel like I've got, like, not a hangover, but you know when you overslept and you feel kind of groggy and...
I'm 100% there, baby. 100%
like,
there.
just like, do I have to keep my eyes open? Yeah, so I don't know what it's not the heat because it's actually our heat wave. Oh, before I start again, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from the Tanaha-Akum Tobacco Plains Nation, and you are at the Kaniha Nation in Quebec. Kanikaha. Yeah.
Kanikaha.
Kanikaha. And so we just want to acknowledge that as well because it's just because that's where we are. That's
what we have to do. This is how we're retraining our brain and
yes,
and being more open and understanding and acknowledging that there is a reckoning.
Yeah, and
accepting.
Going on. And I've always said that. I've often said that. Like people always say, "Well, you can tolerate it. I can tolerate it." There's no tolerating things. You have to accept things. Tolerant means that you still have to have some sort of biased opinion on it. Like, people that say they tolerate gay people or, LGBTQ+2 community. It's like, how can you shut up? Either you accept or then you still have a bias with it. Like, I don't know. Some people just suck, Loretta.
I think, yes, COVID has revealed that. COVID clear, copy that, Wild T.
That's just where I'm at. Like, just after all said and done, I don't care. You fuck vaccinate, don't. Just some people suck. I'm just happy that, things are starting to open up. I actually went into a store the other night and I wore my mask because I'm still not comfortable. And I think that's just because I'm not comfortable. That's my that's on me. That's not anybody else's problem. That's my problem. Yeah, so I went into a store, and some people were wearing masks, and some people weren't. And then today I went into my little favorite store, and of course their staff was still all wearing their masks. I was wearing my mask, and there was these two people standing at the till, and they didn't have masks on. And everybody that came into the store was wearing masks, and I think they felt more uncomfortable with not wearing a mask because that's how I would feel. Like if I walked into a store not wearing a mask, everybody was still coming in wearing a mask, I'd feel like a big old turd in a punch bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess I'm happy to wear my mask. Probably I'll wear a mask, up until next year, maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just so used to it.
I think it's a really good way to not get a cold even or a flu.
Very true, right? And like I said to my friend, I said, you know what? Washing our hands is something we should have never had to be reminded of. Like, we shouldn't have had to have, like, I watch the Japanese TV, and they've got hand-washing dance as commercials on the TV, like, to remind people to wash their hands, right? So here we are in 2021, and we still have to remind people to wash their hands and be sanitary. And that's, it's mind-boggling. I guess over the years, some people don't shower every day. I don't understand that one either. Like, I mean, in the summertime, if I don't shower every day,
some of us are just more squeaky clean than others, that's for sure.
Right.
I'm happy to be one of those people that prefers to be squeaky
clean.
So
how's the petitions and what's going on out in your neck of the woods? How's that going for you, the petitions? And you were out, you said on the weekend, talking to some like-minded people about lounges. And
well, I had a really special weekend, absolutely. There was a back laneway garage sale in St. Henry. And wonderful community, young people, goth. There was a bit of a goth theme in the selling. and just incredible talent too, and some beautiful trans folks where I learned some things from. So I just, it was fantastic. I was doing some petitioning. I've been back to some of the head shops. I could tell there's a couple of them that really don't want to be bothered, but I got one or two that seem to be still doing it. So I'm just gonna keep going with it. See how, and the point is to photocopy it a few times for mayor candidate Valerie Plante, also Denny Coderre, and the media, and really just try and get them to talk about lounges at the very least. So that's the goal. The mayor's race is in November. I still have a lot of time, but I'm just making people talk more and more about it. And the other day I posted a little video of a new lounge that was happening in Ontario. So, and it looks really nice. I think the lounges topic is really going to grow from this point on.
I think it really is. I think that they're starting to do it in the States, where they're showing that people want to have places to commune and gather. And I think with COVID closing, and people getting vaccinated and our vaccination, irregardless of what's happening, whether with the whole virus thing, it's actually going away. Or not going away, but it's actually being contained so that we can gather
90%
again.
of death, right? 90% of death is, down. So,
right.
I mean, the science is working. The vaccine is working.
Exactly. It's phenomenal how much it's really changed in the last 6 months, because we went from being in a full-blown blowout to actually being able to gather. Like, I'm looking forward to having something, like a little gathering, maybe at the end of August.
Oh, I want to come. I want to be there. And
well, it's just going to be it's just going to be a women's retreat, I think. But I think, like I said, I'm just going to try. I don't know, or either that, or just I don't know. I don't care if something's got to happen. But I don't really want a big fucking smasher either.
It would be so much fun.
I'm getting too old.
It would be, and the people. What was really sweet about the garage sale was, so many people expressed that they were really coming out of isolation. They were hesitant. There were many, chronic people participating in the garage sale. And, just, I could really see that, for so many people, they were really scared during the pandemic. Because if you've been living with chronic illness and you have this energy to just take care of yourself always, and always looking for better days. I mean, I think the pandemic really, did a number on a lot of people. And so people are feeling still scared, and they're tentative coming out of it. And, but it's a beautiful thing, no matter what. We are coming out of it, thank goodness for the vaccine. I think we all have to admit that.
Yeah. I'm quite happy to be vaccinated. Like I said, I went into the store and it was like, and then, readily told that I'm not getting a vaccine, not having any intention to getting one, and standing at the, packing my groceries for me with no mask on. So I was quite happy to have my mask on, because that's her choice. I'm not ostracizing her. I'm not saying that she has to do that. That's all her choice. It's my choice to protect myself, and I'll continue to wear my mask.
Yeah. I mean, people will, there will be these new clusters of infection because people aren't getting vaccinated. And this Delta variant is really transmissible and far more efficient at infecting people. So, I mean, I think...
Never did hear any more about that study about cannabis, though, helping with the COVID variant.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything like that.
No.
That's true,
No, and people that did smoke cannabis or do smoke cannabis did catch and die from COVID. So I know that they were kind of hoping that maybe there was excuse me. I just took a blast off.
Yeah, and I mean, I wish it would be really interesting to know. It's true. I don't know any super stoners such as ourselves who were infected. I think I was infected, but I don't know because I didn't get a test. And so,
and I don't know anybody that actually got it close enough to me because we were all pretty careful, to be fair. But I do know a girl in Calgary that did get it that did smoke cannabis that she was just as sick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
I'm sure many people who got it were cannabis users, maybe not like us. But it would be just, I think that, it would have been, it just would be interesting to see some science on, what the effect of cannabis is against this virus.
well,
It would be
I'm just
interesting.
hoping that they're doing research of any kind at this point too, because I know COVID's taken over everything, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that some of the stuff like the space program and other science and wasn't pushed all to the wayside just to concentrate on one thing, which I guess it hasn't, because the government has progressively gotten more infrastructure programs started and other things and scandals and all kinds of other stupid shit that went on during during COVID. So it wasn't like everything was one track COVID. They still had to maintain business as usual, even if it was from home or from wherever it was. And like I said, I'm just thankful that things are opening up. Like out here, like I said, we've got no mask mandate in British Columbia anymore. We can go out without a mask if we've had both our vaccinations. They suggest and recommend that if you haven't been vaccinated, to wear a mask, and if you only had one vaccine, to still wear a mask, and wear your mask for 2 weeks after your second vaccination, just to protect yourself, right? Like, because you're not getting vaccinated with COVID and going out after you've had your vaccine and spreading COVID. That's not what's happening. It's to protect you before it gets a chance to. He was like, "What are you gonna? You're just out spreading COVID for the 2 weeks. That's why you have to wear a mask." It's like, no, you don't. You don't get a vaccine for COVID and then you're out spreading COVID for 2 weeks and that's why you have to wear a mask. That's a really good way of flipping that one around too, you conspiracy fucks. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Like, that's not why.
It's as bad as COVID is, and it's terrible. The epidemic of misinformation is, also lethal. Let's face it,
I think it's
people
worse.
have died from misinformation, that's for sure.
I think it's worse. I think the misinformation through this whole thing and with this 4-year era of the previous government in the U.S. and all this hate and racism, and it's escalated. Like, I have never in my life, but I was so, oh my God, we have to go back because we haven't talked about July 1st. So July 1st, what an epic turnout for people across Canada showing their respect in their orange shirts. Man, I was just
glad to see that.
London,
too.
Ontario, and Ottawa, and Toronto, and all these little towns. Even Fernie, the Crow's Nest Pass. Like, we went downtown. We only had 6 of us show up because the poor fellow that was organizing didn't have a clue, and didn't do social media. He actually was staying at the recovery house across the street from me. He's, in recovery and just wanted to try and do something nice to keep himself busy. Wanted to, like, reach out to people in the community and make, what I mean? Like, he just... Anyway, it didn't go so well, but there were 6 of us that showed up. We walked downtown. But
yeah,
we, at least there was people that showed respect, right? And yeah, like I said, there's
I feel like
awakening.
Canada is waking up.
Yeah, an awakening.
I think many Canadians knew about residential school, but just, in their heads, maybe thought it was like bad boarding school and yes, abuse, but everybody was abused back then.
We were told as kids that St. Eugene's was they didn't call it a residential school. They said it was a school for bad Indian kids. That's what I was told.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's like,
the reality.
And I can't even believe I just said that word, but that's what I was told. That's exact words that came out of my grandfather's mouth. And they were not racist, like they were, but back, that's the terminology that was used back then, right? And it sat empty for a really, really long time. Like, I remember just looking at this old, sad building. And now when you look at that St. Eugene's Mission, it's a beautiful resort. And like I said, that Mary Paul, who was an elder, decided that, as her advice to them was, you lost so much in there. Go and take it all back. And that's what they did. And they borrowed $40 million. The bands all got together. I've learned some history on it. It wasn't a corporation or Canadian government or anybody else that went in to fix that. The First Nations bands pooled together across Canada and raised $40 million to get that thing going. So it's actually owned by 5 bands, and they have a board of directors, and Sophie Pierre is still on the board. Who is the ex-inherited chief, and then she was also the elected chief. But they've got inherited, and then they've got the elective, and Joseph Pierre, who's her son, is now the inherited as well as the elected chief. So it's a generational thing. Her mother was also the chief. So the Ktunaxa have had a female chief for 2 generations prior to the male that's running the nation now, which is something, that's pretty impressive too, because I think we all think that they're more patriarchal, but they're not. They're more of a matriarchal culture where women actually were leaders and equals. And we've Europeans weren't like that. But I can't say that either, because I'm going back to my Western civilization history days from university, and going back and reading some of the stuff that I read before. But before Christ, things were not anything. People were indigenous everywhere before the Crusades, to be fair. There was all kinds of indigenous peoples, I'm not talking like indigenous here, but indigenous peoples to Britannia and Pangea. There was 5 tribes that started to begin with, right? Like we all come from the stemming of 5 tribes that were originally here on Pangea, right? So if you go back to before Christ, there's not a lot of literature, of course, because there wasn't any records to be found. After Christ, that's when all the scrolls and all the writings and all the hieroglyphics and all the stone writings and stuff, more or less, were started to be written. So when you go, like I said, so when people say, well, there's nothing written, no, there probably isn't. It's not that man didn't write. We did. And that's how I have to look at it. Humans did write, but in very scripted forms. We drew pictures, and, it wasn't until, centuries later we actually learned how to, communicate through handwriting and actually scriptures in Hebrew. But all of this upheaval that we all base our lives around bases from religion. And the birth of Christ, to be fair. And I hate to say that, but not that there wasn't Judaism and Hebrews and the Muslims before Christ, because they were. And they were still all battling in the Middle East over all kinds of land. And, we've been battling over land and property and who's right and wrong for centuries.
And religion, for a long time. No, it's true.
We're looking back, there's
seems
been
to be in our
indigenous
DNA
people,
to be warmongers,
right? But it's a human in our primitive nature, I guess, because primitive man, right? We had to fight for everything. I don't know. It's just, but like I said, you can go back to 45 AD, which is after the death of Christ, and the Romans, to be fair, were pillaging through the western parts of Europe and setting up cities and towns and taking over villages and wiping people out. And they did. And they're unearthing, up Mary's Mole, where they had bathhouses. And they're all Roman bathhouses that had running water, running heated water, and huge mounds and huge stone structures that look like the Roman temples or the Roman pillars and stuff from Rome in the northern tip of Britain in the UK. And these are things that they're unearthing through technology and archaeology from 2005 on. So we don't even know. They're saying that the one band, was here for 10,000 years before we even got here. We're talking First Nations, Indigenous on Turtle Island. 10,000 years before we even, figured out how to get across. So where are we? They've got all these, core samples and all this stuff trying to tell us how old the Earth is. But I think as we go on in time, and again, the 5,000 year finding cannabis with mummies and magic mushrooms.
We're learning,
and
we're
and
rewriting history, because obviously we're uncovering technology is showing definitely, how history has so far been written, we've gotten it wrong. Look at all the stuff that's going on at on the Curse of Oak Island. Everything that they have found, and they thought,
Exactly.
at first. I mean, they know that Europeans and people from the Middle East were coming to Canada by boat.
But the
Like
last
way
thing I
before we
watched,
thought they were coming. Like way
there was
before
that what was his name?
Columbus.
He was a black man. What was his name? And he owned most of the island.
Right. Samuel Bell. His last name was Bell.
Samuel Bell.
Yes.
Right. You're exactly right. And now they've unearthed his, one of his, maybe possibly cabin sites, right? They were digging, and they found a bunch of coins, gold coins. Like, not a bunch, but a few, right? So, when he was there, and he lived there, and he established himself there, and that was in the early 1800s, no less, too.
Right.
So think about before that. Like I said, we're in the year 2021. You're going 1,000 years back to 1800, right? Don't you just wish we had time machines?
In a way, yes. I mean,
Wouldn't that just be
I've always
epic?
been a bit of a history geek, but I really do believe, oh my God, they probably were so dirty back then, and they probably had really rotten, teeth, and that's what I think. They probably all stank. They probably were all dirty. It's like, oh my God, I don't know. I do think about it, and I imagine there were some, pristine ones, somewhere, but I'm sure most of them were pretty dirty. It's like,
right. Go back to 1800. Make sure you bring some perfume with you. But no, wouldn't that be just totally interesting? That would be freaky. It's no way possible because how do you jump back in time and all of a sudden show up in your, 2021 gear? Hi, we're here for Grandma's party, right? We arrived from 2021. Do you want to come back with us? So, of course, that's not ever going to be possible. But that would just be so neat if you could actually jump back in time and actually live and feel in that time, to be able to come back, because I don't think, so we've come so far, even with racism and hate and different things that I don't think I could stomach. I couldn't live in the 50s or the 40s where women were supposed to be in a kitchen. Maybe if I didn't know what I know now.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? We've evolved. But I couldn't imagine being a woman back in the 40s or the 30s where I'd have to be washing my laundry with the fucking washboard and no, I'm good. I kind of like my
and very the food. I mean, definitely people were hungry probably all the time. I'm sure
CBC had that series on where they did the food from for a certain year. So they went through the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and they did what food they ate, and it was a family, and they had to dress, and they had a house set up with all no TV.
Oh, I remember. I didn't see it, but I remember.
Yeah, what the heck was that called? But I watched it a couple times, and eating the food out of a can, and then they had to prepare the food, and some of it was pretty rank. The liver and onions.
Yeah, I imagine. Wasn't very good.
No, in the jelly salads and.
I remember those in the 60s. Oh my God. Oh.
And the cannabis wasn't good back then either. We've evolved with cannabis. We've gone from having indica, sativa, some swaggy Thai bud, and some crappy Mexican, swag, and now you got high-end hybrids. You've got all kinds of different strains and different extracts and different beverages and edibles and.
So true. I mean, really and truly, to think about how much was developed, considering, they really drove it underground, criminalized it. People still developed all these strains. I mean, it got better and stronger, but of course they also put a lot of pesticides in it. And, and in Quebec, someone said, "Did you ever have Windex weed?" I went, "What?"
What?
Windex weed? And I go, "I hope not, but I probably did." No wonder we had to leave.
Oh, no, I remember weed being so wet that we had to cut it up and put it on a lamp. And you buy 3.5 grams, so you put it on a lamp, or on a plate on a lamp, and it would dry up, and you might get one joint, because it was literally cut off the branch, and fucking thrown in a bag. Like there was no curing, no drying. $45. Here you go. It's like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, those days were bad. But
I know. So there's so many things that we've improved upon, even though, I have Mondays are my farming days and I hang out with two dudes and we have a really good time. But I think for all of us, we call it Mental Health Mondays. And, there is, anger and sadness about not, getting into, the market of legalization. But I still believe, we're going to get there. We're in a process. Things are still unfolding, but people, certainly feel hurt and whatever about not having access to the market. But definitely, there's a lot of things that we should celebrate in terms of how far we come, all the great products, how it's evolving, and it's really going to continue to evolve, and that's a great thing.
well,
That's a good thing.
Exactly, and like I hate to say it, but we asked for access.
Yes, we
and
did.
Now we've got oversaturation. Like,
Sure,
to be fair,
sure.
we've got so many stores and you've got access to whatever you want.
Apparently, there's a place in Oka that's selling ounces for $45.
Don't doubt
So,
that.
that, we knew there was going to be big adjustments, and I'm sure there's people getting a lot of cannabis from people who are stopping to grow, medical people, sadly, and their DGs who are stopping because they can't, make money at it anymore. And, so there's a ton of cannabis out there. And yeah, there's, places, at Oka selling it for actually $45 an ounce, which seems unbelievable. But that is great access. That is improved access.
Like I said, you can go into the store here, like a legal store here, and buy an ounce for $60 at a legal store. You go out to Tanaha, and you can get ounces for $40 too.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible, but
they're growing their own.
That's not access.
They're growing their own. They're definitely whether they're I don't really. They're on sovereign land. They can do whatever the fuck they want out there, and I'm down for that. Let them have at
Sure. Sure.
But like I said, the access is there. The affordability. Sorry, but you can't tell me that now you're just growing because you want to, and you're growing because you can. Like, seriously, I've thought about it time and time again. I was going to go buy myself another LED light, grab a couple more clones, and I thought, what the fuck for? Really? I love growing the plants. I've got them. I've got a couple growing, and I love growing them. But, I don't really have the time, to be fair, or the energy or the power to have 100 plants in my basement. I've got 100 other things going on. I got quails and chickens and dogs and kids and...
It's a lot of work, and that, and it's expensive, and in the summertime, the heat, you have to have
air conditioning and make sure, for sure. That's the thing.
I don't know if people, can really produce it for that low. Obviously they can, but that's really it. When it's that low, why would you bother producing it?
Well,
that is the point, right?
Exactly. Well, I know that people say they can produce it outside for a certain amount of money, which, I see that Kurt and Matt with the Great Gardener have got their 10 acres of outdoor bar planted, and they're growing outdoor. Great. I'm not a fan of outdoor weed. I probably will never buy a gram of it because I'm not a fan of outdoor cannabis. That's my choice. I don't like it. I don't care what strain it is. I don't care how it was outside. Yeah, I'm good. That's just that's my thing, right? So I like indoor, and I know that these great big facilities are growing mountains of it, and maybe some of it's not so great. So you stick to the small micro crafting, and they're letting more of those in, right? But again,
boutique cannabis is very different. And will never be $45 an ounce because there's just such a huge
it is
difference. Like where I was
it is
garden, this guy.
That's the thing, though.
Was mentioning that when it's that low, for him, but he knows he'll never be able to replace what he can do. And even though the price might be down to $45 an ounce, I don't think it's going to be boutique, grown cannabis. That's for sure. But
Oh yeah, that's
The
the thing.
access is improving. We can't deny that. And I don't know, is there any update on what's happening with medical as far as you've heard? I haven't really heard anything, like in
I haven't
terms
heard
of
anything yet, but
changes they're going to make.
we gotta thank our sponsors and take a quick break, and
Okay.
I'll look that up while we're on a break and see if I can. But I don't think so. I'm pretty sure if they had said something, we would have heard somebody say something. But we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. You've been listening to us live
Ready.
on
Ready.
paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
All right, we are back. So yeah,
Hello.
we cover so much crap.
We do. And as we were saying on the break, I'm so happy to see these protests in Brazil against their right-wing windbag dictator who, got in because of evangelicals.
Evangelicals,
These
yeah.
evangelicals around the world are like, I don't know, they're like, they seem to be, the new Nazis. I hate to say it like that, and I don't want to water down what Nazism did, but they are so threatening, damaging, and they're still holding on to this lie and pushing this big lie. And they had like also some white supremacists in Philadelphia marching, hundreds of them, whatever, on July the 4th. And I'm worried a little bit, because as things move in on Trump, he's whipping up his evangelicals, and they are the QAnon quack people too. And I'm worried we're going to see another insurrection.
You know what
in
kills
August.
me is he's not even a Christian. He's a
I know.
TV.
But they think he's the Messiah.
He
the
is
Messiah,
literally
and that's so disgusting.
a reality TV con man.
Yeah,
and that's what he is. He's a con man. His father was a con man. But you have to
Grifters.
remember, Joseph Smith and the Church of Latter-day Saints, too, was built on lies and cons. And every church, if you think about it, is built on some man-made bunch of bullshit lies and fucking bullshit. So
bring on the matriarchy, baby. I hear you.
Like in reality, you go to church, it doesn't matter what church you go to, there's a little collection plate. Or the LDS church want to tithe your fucking family 10% of your wages. Or, who knows what the other ones, what the Jewish church wants you to play. Like, I'm sorry, Muslims are fucking Muslim, Mormon, fucking Catholic, Protestant. You're all fucking religion. And I'm sick of it all being fucking blanket. Oh, we have to like this one and we got to go and protest. Protest what? You're protesting and protecting somebody's religion. And yes, I get it. It's a constitutional right to practice religious freedom in Canada. You're practicing bullshit.
And you know what? Let's start collecting taxes from churches, and no, let's not burn down churches, but let's give those churches back to, or those lands back to Indigenous people, like what happened with the one that you're mentioning, how all these bands got together and they turned it into a resort. I mean, yes, there could be a new life,
and
from
the Catholic Church
the ashes
here,
of
we
this
found out
ugliness.
on the morning that we did our walk that there's a house that sits next to the Catholic Church downtown Cranbrook that's got 8 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. It sits empty because you only use it when the bishop comes. And they built another church on up 14th, and the Catholic priest lives up there. And I'm like, wow, really? I didn't even know there was 2 Catholic churches in town. Wow. Does anybody even use this place then? Like, same with...
There's so many Catholic churches in Montreal, babe, but listen, I think the only thing that they're really used for now are for AA meetings and NA meetings.
I don't think...
I really do. I
think
think
even used for that.
That's what they're used for now. More than, people going to church, I think. I guess, yes, obviously there's Catholics that go to church, but clearly church must be way, way down from, say, what it was in the 60s and 70s. It has to be. It has to be way, way down. I
they've
think.
just changed churches. Instead of going to Catholic and Protestant churches, now they're going to Scientologist churches and Latter-day Saint churches. Because they're the new in trend. Because, that's where all the doctors and all the lawyers and all the fancy pantses go that have money. Because they've been sent to university by their church to get a good education. Like the Mormon church goes down to Brigham Young University in Utah, and they all become doctors and lawyers and nurses and dentists, and then the church tithes them 10%. That's the fastest growing fucking corporation in the United States of America, is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Check it out, dude. I'm not kidding.
Well, even like...
It's almost as big as Amazon.
These evangelicals, okay, they have these churches like that are malls. They're like, they're in the mall, and they're the malls, and they have thousands of people come, and everybody volunteers and works like mad. Like churches and Scientology, which is more like a cult, I would say, but they're masters.
As
they're
far as I'm
masters
concerned,
at
they all are.
exploiting people. They're masters at exploitation, like incredible masters of it. They really are, to get all this like hours and hours of volunteer work out of people. I mean, it's
exactly.
unbelievable how they exploit people, and and they just, like I say, in the States they have these mall churches, and thousands of people go every freaking Sunday. It's fucked up.
And every Sunday they hand over their little envelope full of like $10 or $20. So it's never. It doesn't have to be much. But when you've got 10,000 people rolling through the door every Sunday at $10 and $20, and then the ones that are more affluent, of course, are giving more. Because of course you got the front row seats that the affluent people can sit. And they got the nosebleed tickets.
And nobody, and you're relying on, all these volunteers to do all this work for free. Oh God, to free their soul. Fuck, it's such a, it is. I mean, really, when you think of it, it's such a. It is a con. It is, all of it is a con.
Can you come and volunteer and come and take care of my animals and my kid, forever? And I'm going to be the new Messiah. I've just declared it. and again, send me money, because I was at Billy Graham, like, on TV. I remember not watching it, but my ex's mom was, into that for a little while, and I'd go over there, and she'd be sitting there watching Billy Graham or some fucked up fucking shit on TV, and at the end there was always send your 800 number, and here's the address to send your checks, people. Here's our prayer line. It's only $9.99. You know what I mean? No, I'm serious. Join our prayer line for 99 cents. Like, seriously, pay your $99 or whatever the fuck. Because they were talking like 90s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. So it was like 99 cents, and then they'd bill your phone bill 99 cents. But then they'd charge you for the whole 20 minutes for the prayer. So, like, here, come get a prayer for 99 cents, and it costs you $50.
That's funny.
It's true.
That's funny.
Back when the old style of sex lines and dial prayer line, like, it's all a fucking scam. It's kind of like the RCMP phoning and saying, "You fucked up on your taxes. We got a warrant for you." It's like, oh yeah, come on down. I'll be waiting for you with your warrant for my, for me fucking up my taxes, you fucking scammer on the phone. Now they've just gone to that, or you've won this lottery, hit this link in your email. Like, it's just gone to be ridiculous. But, the only way
I mean, they get more and more sophisticated for, sucking money out of people. And
people are doing it with cannabis too. They jump on Facebook and they start, I got a message from a friend of mine from Nova Scotia last week. He's like, "Oh, you know a lot of people, don't you?" I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Oh, this so-and-so just sent me a message. He can help me and they've got a disabled daughter." And this guy was trying to scam these people out of fucking money to send them fucking meds. I didn't know who this guy was. He wasn't on my Facebook friends list. He dropped my fucking name. And then he's in the States. But this is what these fucking hacker scammers are trying to do. And then they're going after people with disabled kids that use cannabis. Go fuck yourself, dude.
I know.
That's horrendous.
I know. That's really something.
Right?
We have to become. People are gullible. I'm gullible.
I'm glad he reached out and asked me if I knew this guy first. Like,
what's that?
I'm really glad that he reached out and asked me if I knew who this person was. And thanks for sending this guy kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? Because I didn't know this dude. Right? But I mean, if he would have just, because a lot of people are shady like that too, thinking, "Oh, well, this guy knows Tamara. Maybe he'll give me a better deal than he's given her." You know what I mean? Because that's how other people think, right? Like, "Oh, he's probably giving it to her. Maybe he'll give it to me." Like when I get nothing, nobody sends me anything for. Well, that's not true. I did get a surprise gift in the mail this week, but it was like a total shock. Because normally people do not send me stuff in the mail for free. I don't get anything. So, and all of a sudden, but that's what some people, jealous, greedy people think, "Oh, they got these shows, they're getting all kinds of, they're making money hand over fist from doing these podcasts and doing all the social media, and you're getting sponsorship, and you're getting," no, I'm not. How much are you getting from this, Loretta? How many people are sending you gifts and fucking, packs of papers and bongs and all kinds of fucking t-shirts? Nobody's sending us shit like that. And that's a misconception. So a lot of people would go behind your back and go, "Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I'll take whatever you got." But this guy said, "Hey, man, like, what's up?" But I know other people that would have fucking got scammed and then fucking told me about it after because they're greedy pieces of shit. Because I know a lot of those too.
Sadly.
Unfortunately, right? Skirt ride.
COVID
fucking,
has revealed a lot of, unpleasant personality traits, that's for sure. I mean, they were there before, and these hackers and scammers are getting more and more sophisticated. That's, it's hard to believe that this is what people do for a living, like, to think about how they can, take advantage of people who have kids with disabilities. I mean, where's their soul?
Right.
Where the hell's their
They don't have them, though. Like, that's the thing, because they're just greedy fucks. But like I said, I know many other people, with these online dispensaries or online websites that are selling cannabis, and then you send money to them and they never get anything back. Or you get, fuck you, we never got your cat. Like, there's all kinds of stupid shit that goes on online. And I think that's the biggest downside to being, online, because then you're always questioning, well, am I going to get hacked? Is my bank account going to get hacked? Like, am I going to get, compromised? Like, if I order something online, like, is it going to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think if you don't have those thoughts, you're foolish, because these, the hacking and what's going on it's just getting more intense. And, as the world seems to be struggling with economies, tanking, like, it's hard to believe that there seems to be so many more homeless people now after COVID than there was before. I don't know if you're seeing this evidence in your part of Canada, but definitely, I'm seeing it in Montreal. And, a lot of people lost their housing, and it just seems so wrong that we have more of a homeless problem now than we did before. So there's definitely a lot of hardship out there that was made worse.
I'm noticing more drug deaths, and that's what is breaking me. Is we had overdose on the weekend, 5 of them, and one did fatality. And I just in this day and age, like, I'm sorry if you're not carrying Narcan or not using with a friend, or why are you using it all? Because we all know that there's not any real cocaine or any real drugs in Canada because the borders have been closed. So they're not getting anything real across the borders, you fucking people. Like, stop it. Just stop.
More important, like, we've talked about before.
Safe supply.
If we could make it a lounge program, like when we have different lounges, because we know they're going to be recreational ones, and that's great, but medical ones could do things like provide safe testing. Right?
Right.
We need that.
Oh, you're right there? Yeah. Exactly. Like, we all need to but like, I was reading before that those costs, like, those drug testing units are $45,000 each. And then, thankfully we've got one here in Cranbrook, but you get fentanyl strips that will test any drug to see if there's any fentanyl in it. And I wish people would get that and learn how to use naloxone or Narcan, or whatever the heck they're calling it. Narcan, naloxone, it's all the same. But because with harm reduction places, like in the cities especially, we've got them. Go ahead and use them. Like, definitely, take them and definitely learn how to use that, because you could be walking down the street, right?
Right. I mean, people have Narcan here, but I don't think there's testing. And we really need that to save lives, for sure.
Do you not have a harm reduction, safe reduction site in Montreal?
I don't. Yeah, we have some harm reduction, but as far as I know, there's no testing site. I can't say for sure, but it does seem like a lot of people are dying from overdoses. That's for sure. That's going on.
Yeah, it really is. It's really sad, and it's really unfortunate that.
Like you said, and like people say, people believe that they trust their dealer.
They believe they're invincible. They believe
And,
or they're selling it themselves, and they're cutting it themselves, and they're not putting any fentanyl in it, and they don't think there's any fentanyl in it. Apparently there is.
Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad because, as much as however expensive it is to buy these testing machines, if we had them everywhere, and if the stigma was gone, accepting that people will use drugs to escape their reality, like that is just a fact of life. It probably, before they used drugs, they may have done other things, like, going back in history, like people have always tried to, I'm sure,
always used
numb
drugs.
themselves out from
No,
life.
people, if you go back in history, people have always used drugs. In fact, before Prohibition, they were using cocaine and opiates and all kinds of different things. But willow branches, like the indigenous people were using willow and not willow, but birch and other herbal medicines for pain relief and smoking sweetgrass and cannabis. Believe it or not.
Right.
Long before we fucking trotted our asses over here. Like, seriously. Like, there is such long-term medicinal use to all kinds of herbs and earthly things. Peyote, for example. Magic mushrooms. All kinds of these different psilocybins and different kind of plant matter that they were using for pain and using for medicine. We've been using fucking drugs and fermenting fruit for centuries. So we've had alcohol and drugs around probably since the beginning of man. So if people think that we're going to just all of a sudden quit using it, just because alcohol is legal and acceptable doesn't mean it's fucking not fucking dead.
No, I know. And the other thing is, how crazy is it? Really, the mindset. I mean, if we want to talk about a form of slavery, to actually create laws about putting things in your mouth, and in your body. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, really, when you think of it. That they came up with laws that, if you put this drug, but not this drug, in your mouth, you have to go to jail. Like, it's just, it's insane. It's, that's the thing. It's an insane policy. And the thing is, it keeps on killing. It's the policy that keeps on killing. And so we need these testing sites. We need to encourage people and say, look, we know people will buy drugs, will use drugs. We want these drugs to be safe, and we want to give people the choice and to use a safe drug or to not use it. Right. So that's really got to be the next step, and it'll be a lot cheaper than all the money that is being spent on, who's responding. The police are responding. People get upset. We're over policed. Well, they are the ones who are cleaning up the mess of this, and they're not the best responders for that. We know this, so let's put our resources.
I see that the Calgary City Police are reallocating money for social services. Some of the bigger police forces are actually starting to see where the downsizes and where the actual money needs to go. I know
we can work together. We can work together. We can work together.
But you know what? Here's the thing, though. In reality, this is stuff that should be coming down from the federal level with our RCMP and our military too.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, why is it that having to be municipal governments that are taking and municipal forces that are taking this on their own and allocating different budgets for their own? And these are like municipal, okay? These are not federal or OPP or provincial or RCMP. They're taking it upon themselves to allocate money to different things. So why is the federal government not allocating specifically for the RCMP to have a specific training to do this? Where's the money for that, JT? Like, seriously, where's that in the budget? Where's the social working and the mental health budget for the RCMP? Because, you can give as much money as you want for to make more mental health services, which is terrific. Don't get me wrong. To open up more mental health services and get more people working in social working, that's great. We have to find the people to fucking do it to begin with. All these, same with the shoving this shot in your arm. That would entail you having to have the people to fucking actually do it. If you don't have nurses and doctors trained to do it, we're lacking in medical services because we don't have the bodies of people that are educated to do the work. You have 50 fucking hospitals lined up. If you don't
I think also, in terms of the RCMP being reformed and changed, like, maybe it should become something else, because I have to say, like, people really, in the reckoning of what's going on with Indigenous people, they really gotta understand the RCMP came and took their babies and their little kids away.
Yeah, but
Like
the
that is
RCMP
how
were
the
our very
RCMP
first
was.
military, right? Because
So I just wish
they
we.
were sent out to deal with the miners. Like that's one of the stories here with Sam Steele. Okay, so this is what the RCMP, because of the gold rush. So you had a bunch of dirty, greasy men. No, not very many women, because women were, we were talking like before suffrage. We're talking 1800s, and all these immigrant men that came over here for the gold rush. So you had greedy fucking motherfucking fucking greasy fucking men coming from all over the world.
Reminds me of cannabis.
Right? Coming from all over the world, mainly the United States, because everybody landed in the United States to begin with. Not like specifically, but most people were coming in immigration through Ellis Island, which is down in New York. So because the ships weren't just coming into Halifax specifically until later on. So most people, right? The main transportation was from, the UK over to now, which is New York, Ellis Island. So a lot of these people that were coming from Scotland, Ireland, specifically Ireland, England, Britain, Germany, not so much, but Italy, and they were discriminated against too. They were called dirty wops, and Irish were not allowed in certain specific places because they came over here for the gold rush, and they brought their worst, and they sent their worst. So Canada, like Australia, it was based on criminals. So when you get the worst people coming over here to colonize a country because they're overpopulated and they just couldn't be fucking bothered, what do you expect?
Well, I expect us to evolve and become better. That's what I expect. But we have to reckon with this terrible past, and I do think we did a pretty good job of showing some of that reckoning over the last few days. Absolutely.
I think Canada's really stepped up. I just hope that the government continues to step up. They need to decide what they're going to do with Carolyn Bennett. Hopefully she'll just decide this next federal election just not to bother running again.
I just think, I know
it's time for her to retire. I know she's done great. She's done her tenure. You know what? But in hindsight, I think that when they do call an election here in the next probably 6 weeks, I hope that Carolyn just decides to step aside. Because really, she can't back herself out of this one. Jody Wilson-Raybould needs to step up and run again, and hopefully she wins again in her independent riding. But we need to see more Indigenous people. We need to see more women coming out. We need to see more minorities coming out. We need to see younger people.
We need to see younger people, like hanging out with these younger people on the weekend. It's so important to be around younger people, and we want them politically engaged. They're just, we need to see younger people. That's my reason. Also saying, I hope she maybe decides to let someone else have a chance. But, I understand too. I'm sure politics is addictive. Like, look at us too. We're like, political potheads who, love ranting and raving and love protesting, like for justice. So, it is addictive. I get that. And we all want to feel like we're working on something important. I understand that. But it's time sometimes to let younger people in. And this is one of those times. I'd love to see way more younger people. And yes, definitely Indigenous and diverse in. And I think we will see it. I think we're going to see it, which is really exciting.
I hope so. Well, we've ran.
Once again, the time flies by. I know. I had a bit of a coughing spell back there, but the time always whizzes by. I always have the best time.
But yeah, exactly. So shout out to your friends out there and keep on plugging away with those petitions. And
I love you, Laneway Loungers. We are the lounge. That's what I kept saying on the weekend.
We are the lounge, exactly.
We are the lounge.
And let's see if we can't manifest getting you a plane ticket out here so you can come out and hang out BC.
Oh, I so love that. I need that vacation. Yes, stonercation with wild tea. Absolutely. Fund me.
That'd be awesome if we could just, if we could just get you out here. Because like I said, once you're out here, then we could, see if we could plan a little weekend of because I was thinking about
Oh,
doing it at
we'd
my
have
house,
so
and I
much
thought, you know what,
fun.
I just can't. I got too many animals, and my veranda's all
I
full of quails
understand,
and shit now.
but
So we could
I
find a
understand.
cool Airbnb where 10 of us could gather together and have a women's retreat. I think that'd be
Amazing,
awesome.
amazing idea. Let's keep on pushing that idea out there to happen. That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely great idea.
And
Bitches
now that we can
retreat.
gather, right? Well, even before, like, I'm not talking 50 people, I'm talking 10.
Yeah,
So even
exactly.
like, even if COVID restrictions were still in effect, we could still do this.
For sure.
So I'm worried
Awesome.
like, well, that's what Trudeau said today. He goes like, I could go back wild and open the border, and then then what? He goes, nobody wants to go backwards. Nobody wants to have tourism coming in and then have to backpedal and close everything back down again. So be patient.
True.
Right?
I mean, I think we've done the vaccine rollout has been really amazing here in Quebec, and I think Canada has done very well. So, like I said, it's only the unvaccinated.
Days. Yeah, it's back to let's hope for better days. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
for
you all
sure.
have a great week.
Lots of love, everyone. Peace and love. Hello and above.
Yeah, we'll be back next Monday on paceradio.net. Bye.
Woo.
All I think about is
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. Their values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done with a twice-weekly broadcast of the Reefer Reporters and by providing cannabis advocates a place to be heard through Cannabis and Coffee with Tamara and the award-winning Pace Radio Show. Catch it all here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CTCP.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.